Well, I can't tell you about Alvin Weinberg without interspersing some with Wigner. Eugene Wigner and he were like brothers, and maybe a little closer than most brothers. Weinberg, to me, was misunderstood by a lot of people because he was an absolute brilliant person, just like Eugene Wigner, and he would understand the problem he was talking about way on ahead of everybody else in the room, and but he never lost his modesty or his quietness, and when every year each division to Ardell, and I think they still do, have an annual meeting, and Alvin always sat on the front row. It was funny in a sense that most people were extremely afraid of making a bad mistake in front of Alvin, but they need not have, because he was a very understanding person. But I'll give you an example. Jake Neufeld had a slide made up of one of his calculations. It had about 4 or 5 lines of signatures, or all kinds of stuff. And he was really proud that nobody could understand that. Well, I could never understand that about him. But anyway, he went through the long rows of number of some letters, and then when he got to the end, he asked for the next slide. And Alvin said, "Well, just a minute, Jake." He said, "In that third line, that e to the minus, shouldn't that be plus?" It was just absolutely hilarious. Anyway, we all dreaded the annual information meeting because he understood stuff going by that most of us didn't never get. And so that was, I think, the most outstanding feature of Alvin, as far as the rest of the world is concerned, was the fact that he understood all the laws of physics and how to use them, and just to be a wondrous person to listen to. He was modest as it's possible for a person like him to be, I guess, and it just happened with luck that way back there he called on our division to send up somebody to talk to him about a problem, which was one of our problems in Nevada. And whoever he asked for couldn't go, and they sent me. Casey Morgan was still the speaker of that on that subject, and so anyway, it got us introduced in a way that he liked, I guess, because from then on, every once in a while, he'd have a question where somebody didn't fill it in good, and he'd call him, and I'd go ask him. And then, as the best surprise of all, one Thursday afternoon, I don't remember the whole detail, he asked me to come over and talk to him. And I came over, I went over to his office, and he said, "I want you to turn your operation over to your next in line," which was Fred Haywood, "and go away and come back as quick as you can with a PhD. And you can't beat a thing like that." He said, "You're due for all your expenses, but we'll pay you your salary while you're gone." And they did. And I was going 1 year to the day to Georgia Tech. Anyway, Dr. Weinberg, he very quietly congratulated me and turned the health physics division over to me. It's what he had planned on doing. Well, you know, he left the laboratory and went to Washington, and up there I only saw him a couple of times. But then he came back to Oak Ridge and started the firm that he stayed in. And so we saw more of him there than any. Matter of fact, I have my little corporation has grown up to about 30 people. And I had started a program at our laboratory, our personal laboratory, that we had Alvin come out every Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock to talk to the staff about all kinds of physics problems. People would write their ideas of what they'd like to hear about to him. And he came and he'd bring some other people now and then. So it was a real party. We'd have, you know, the usual drinks and eating. And it was a warm and good day. Mm-hmm. And Alvin added to anything in his quiet way. Most people didn't think of him as being a quiet person, and he wasn't, except when he had something important. And so his after work talks that he gave at our place were just marvelous. We'd have our guys think about problems that we had in the world of health physics, and when Alvin would be there, they'd ask him about these questions. He was absolutely fantastic. First place, he was absolutely brilliant, he and Eugene both. And the things that they asked about and worked about were at the heart of problems. And so and under Alvin, we talked about the heavy subjects that, as far as the public was concerned. He was quiet, and as far as I know, nobody disliked him, but he wasn't close to very many people because they looked at him with awe. Well, the main thing that I feel about Alvin, and I was closer to him than most, is that he was a quiet, modest guy that could, in his head, he could figure out long equations. It's brilliant. And his association with other brains was good. He sat in his office day in and day out, quiet little guy sitting over there, but his brain was going 90 miles an hour. And people called him from all over the world with questions. And he was also modest and receptive of other people's ideas. We lost a lot when we lost him. You know, Oak Ridge has seen almost all of the great figures in the world. And right in the midst of all those most brilliant people was Alvin Weinberg. And but he was also one that you didn't hear much about. His work ended up in journals and reports and personal documents that he did not promote his work. He just did it. And well, I felt a loss like I did for my dad when he died, and it was a bad day. But he left a list of things that he accomplished. But most people didn't know that he did, because they showed up through other people. That's the best thing that I know about him.